The debate between Michael Jordan and LeBron James continues to spark passion in basketball circles. And today we dive into one of the most underrated yet essential aspects of this comparison: defense. Both men are legends, both have carried the NBA to heights unimaginable. But when we peel back the layers and look at their defensive mindsets, a striking difference emerges. Legends like Gary Payton and analysts like Stephen A. Smith have shed light on the reality that Jordan embraced defensive challenges head-on, while LeBron has approached defense more cautiously, often balancing it with his offensive load. This is not about disrespecting LeBron's greatness. It is about understanding why Jordan's defensive mindset set him apart from everyone else who has ever touched the hardwood. Before we get started, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Who do you think was the better defender, Jordan or LeBron? Let's break this down step by step using the perspectives of those who have played against and analyzed them for decades. Gary Payton's perspective reveals the single most defining trait of Michael Jordan's defensive legacy: his refusal to shy away from the hardest assignment, even when it meant risking exhaustion. This was not a matter of efficiency for Jordan. It was not about pacing himself for the long run. His mentality was simple and ruthless. If you were the best player on the other team, he wanted you. Jordan believed that shutting down the biggest threat was part of his responsibility as the leader and as the best player in the world. That mindset turned every defensive possession into a stage for him to showcase not just his skill, but his willpower. This is where Jordan separated himself from LeBron James. LeBron has always been about conserving his energy across an entire game, an entire series, and even an entire season. His approach is strategic, calculated, and pragmatic. Jordan's approach was visceral, emotional, and relentless. He wanted to prove to his opponent that not only could he score on them, but he could also suffocate them on the other end. This meant taking on defensive assignments that could wear him down. It meant challenging himself in ways that could cost him stamina. But to Jordan, proving dominance was more important than rest. If you watch Jordan's career, his defensive intensity is woven into some of his most iconic moments. Think of his steals against Karl Malone in the finals, his ability to switch onto guards and shut them down, his capacity to disrupt passing lanes, and his knack for psychological warfare on the defensive end. Gary Payton, who prided himself on defense, recognized this and understood that Jordan's hunger was not normal. It was legendary. LeBron, for all his greatness, has never carried that same fire on defense consistently. And this is what sets the two apart. Jordan's mindset was not about doing just enough to win. It was about leaving no doubt on both ends of the floor that he was the superior player.
Michael Jordan really didn't have a mindset of, I don't care if I do tire myself out, I'm going to go and take this guy because I want to prove to him that I am the better basketball.
When Gary Payton points out that LeBron does not have the mindset to take on the toughest defensive assignment every night, it cuts straight to the truth of LeBron's career. LeBron has always been the engine of his teams. Whether it was in Cleveland, Miami, or Los Angeles, his role was not limited to scoring. He was the primary playmaker, the initiator of the offense, and often the emotional leader. That responsibility required a different balance of energy, and as a result, LeBron often chose not to exhaust himself by guarding the opposing team's best scorer night after night. This is where the contrast between him and Jordan becomes undeniable. Jordan believed that you could not truly call yourself the best if you were not willing to prove it against the best on both ends of the court. For Jordan, pride demanded that he take on the challenge of stopping his opponent's star player. LeBron, on the other hand, approaches it from a more rational perspective. He knows he has to last for 40-plus minutes, that his team depends on him for scoring, facilitating, and even rebounding. In this way, his refusal to constantly take on the toughest defensive assignments is understandable, but it also leaves a gap in his legacy. The reason this distinction matters so much is because it speaks to mindset. Jordan was obsessed with domination. He wanted to crush you in every possible way. LeBron, though still competitive, is more focused on maintaining his overall impact across the game. That difference is why Payton and others emphasize Jordan's defensive commitment. Because in their eyes, Jordan was never too tired to prove himself, never too busy to show you that he could lock you down personally. LeBron's greatness lies in his versatility and longevity, but Jordan's greatness lies in his relentless fire to always prove superiority in the moment. That difference is why Jordan's defensive reputation continues to shine brighter.
I think that LeBron doesn't have that mindset that he wants to do that every night because he knows that he does so much on his team and he has to exert himself so much.
Stephen A. Smith's observation that he has never seen LeBron declare, "I got him, I'm shutting him down," underscores a crucial gap in LeBron's legacy. Over a 2-decade career, LeBron has never been known as the guy who demanded to guard the opponent's star for an entire game. He has had great defensive plays, chase down blocks, key stops, and moments of brilliance, but he has not consistently taken it upon himself to neutralize the opposing superstar. That lack of a signature defensive commitment is what separates him from Michael Jordan. Think about the psychology of basketball. When the leader of your team says, "I'll guard him," it changes everything. It sets a tone. It instills confidence in teammates. It demoralizes opponents. That was what Jordan did routinely. By taking on the toughest assignments, Jordan not only proved his own dominance, but also elevated his team's belief. He became the anchor of both the offense and defense. LeBron, by contrast, has not built his reputation on that kind of defensive declaration. His greatest moments often come from his offensive brilliance or his playmaking genius, not from his ability to say, "Give me the hardest job and watch me handle it." This does not mean LeBron has not been a good defender. He has been an excellent defender at his peak, capable of guarding multiple positions. But what Stephen A. is pointing out is the absence of a defining defensive identity. Jordan built part of his aura around defense. He won a Defensive Player of the Year award, made 9 all-defensive first teams, and consistently took pride in shutting people down. LeBron has accolades too, but his defensive intensity has ebbed and flowed depending on his offensive load. The fact that an analyst as sharp as Stephen A. says he has never seen LeBron make that kind of defensive statement is telling. It means that when history is written, Jordan's defensive reputation will always overshadow LeBron's.
Never seen him do it. I'm talking about, I have never seen a game where LeBron has come out from open and tap and said, "You know what? I got him. I'm shutting him down." I've never seen him do it.
When someone says that people don't appreciate how deep into his career LeBron James is already, what they are really saying is that many fans and critics refuse to acknowledge the sheer mileage on his body. This is not some rookie or mid-prime athlete we are talking about. This is a man who entered the NBA as a teenager straight out of high school, carried the weight of an entire franchise on his shoulders from day one, and has been the focal point of media attention for over 2 decades. Yet, despite the heavy minutes, the relentless playoff runs, and the pressure of being compared to the greatest player of all time, LeBron is still producing at an elite level. That is not ordinary. That is historic. The problem, however, is that appreciation is selective. People will look at his stats and longevity, but they won't truly acknowledge how draining it is for a player to be in the spotlight this long without a major collapse. This is why this point matters so much. It highlights that LeBron's career is not about mere survival. It is about domination despite mileage. It also forces us to confront a reality. Jordan retired twice. He took breaks. He allowed himself to reset. LeBron never did. That alone puts his longevity on a pedestal, whether you rank him above Jordan or not. To diminish this is to ignore one of the rarest feats in sports history.
That people don't appreciate how deep into his career LeBron is already.
Gary Payton's words here are blunt. He is basically saying he has never seen it, and if he hasn't seen it, then that is the truth. Payton is not the kind of player to sugarcoat. He played in the 90s, in the most physical and cutthroat era of basketball. He went toe-to-toe with Jordan, Stockton, Malone, Reggie Miller, and more. If Payton is saying he has not seen something, then his credibility speaks louder than any analyst's hot take. What exactly is he referring to? He is saying he has not seen LeBron James embody the same mentality that Jordan brought every single night. Jordan wanted to kill you on the floor. He wanted to dominate not just the game, but your pride. Payton is essentially saying that while LeBron has talent, stats, and accolades, He has never matched the aura or the killer instinct that Jordan possessed. That is a truth that cuts deep into the debate. Fans can spin numbers all day long, but the eye test of a Hall of Fame defender like Gary Payton carries weight. If he hasn't seen it, then maybe it just does not exist.
Ever.
I haven't seen it neither, and it's just that's the case. But like I said, I haven't seen that. I said that it's the.
Here, Gary Payton acknowledges something critical. He says he has to be fair and give LeBron his due. Unlike Jordan, who had Scottie Pippen and eventually a core of reliable role players, LeBron has often been tasked with doing everything. From scoring to facilitating to leading the defense, he has been the all-in-one package. This is where the conversation gets nuanced. Payton admits that LeBron never truly had his own version of Scottie, that consistent sidekick who could take pressure off him night in and night out. Yes, LeBron played with stars like Dwayne Wade and Kyrie Irving, but the difference is that those partnerships were either brief or inconsistent in terms of dominance. Wade was declining after 2012. Kyrie was brilliant offensively, but lacked the leadership or defensive presence of a Pippen. And Anthony Davis, while supremely talented, has been unreliable due to injuries. This is what Payton means. Jordan had structure, he had a foundation, he had a Hall of Fame level wingman by his side for nearly all of his championships. LeBron, on the other hand, often had to drag incomplete rosters, particularly during his first Cleveland run. That kind of burden alters how you judge him. Payton is not excusing LeBron, but acknowledging reality. Sometimes greatness is not about who you are, but who is around you, and LeBron rarely had the luxury of the kind of reliable help Jordan enjoyed.
Truth, but I have to be in LeBron's case too, because like I said, he has to do so much on these basketballs. He does not have Scottie Pippen. He does not have guys like that who can help.
This statement from Payton is a dagger. He makes a direct comparison. Jordan always wanted the toughest assignment. He wanted to guard the best player. It was not about conserving energy. It was about proving dominance. LeBron, on the other hand, takes a different approach. Payton argues that LeBron avoids taking the toughest defensive assignments because he has to do so much offensively. In other words, LeBron conserves himself. This creates a massive contrast. Jordan believed defense was part of his identity. He did not see it as extra. He saw it as necessary. LeBron, however, picks his battles, often guarding weaker players to stay fresh for offense. That is not a knock on his ability. LeBron has shown he can lock down opponents when needed, but Payton is emphasizing the difference in mindset. Jordan chased the challenge every time. LeBron calculates his energy. That difference is why Jordan is revered as the ultimate competitor. He never wanted to be hidden, he wanted the smoke. Payton is brutally honest here. He is saying LeBron's greatness is conditional, while Jordan's greatness was unconditional. That changes the conversation in a big way.
He would always take the best basketball player on that thing. But I think now in this era, LeBron doesn't want to tire himself out because he does so much on his Cleveland basketball team.
When you piece together Gary Payton's words and the deeper reflections around LeBron's longevity, a clear picture emerges. LeBron James deserves respect for sustaining dominance this deep into his career. That is a feat nobody can deny. But at the same time, Payton's honesty slices through the debate. He has never seen LeBron embody the same ruthless mentality as Michael Jordan. He acknowledges LeBron's burden of not having a consistent Scottie Pippen, but he also makes it clear that LeBron avoids defensive assignments that Jordan would have embraced every single night. The conclusion is simple: longevity and burden do not equal killer instinct. LeBron may be number 2, and he may be a marvel of endurance, but Jordan was different. Jordan was the storm that never let up, the competitor who never ducked responsibility. And as Payton shows us, that difference is why Michael Jordan will always stand taller in the pantheon of basketball legends.